So this is the second video for the Review 2 section in college algebra. This is Review 2b, and we're going to talk about scientific notation here. So I'm on page number 11, and if you remember about scientific notation, it's just a way to write long, big Herkin numbers or little itty-bitty tiny numbers in a simpler manner. So if we have a number like 3, 2, 6, who knows what that number represents, but remember, you take the first number and then two numbers after that, round up if you need to. So the decimal always goes after the very first number, never anywhere else. Then we make a time sign, then a 10, and then we count how far we are. What we did is we took the decimal that was here and we moved it clear over here. So I need to find out how many decimal places that is. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 decimal places. So we put a 12 on any exponent, and that 12 represents where the decimal place should be if we weren't writing this number in a concise manner here. Okay, so that's all that does. Now if we have negative exponents, so let's say that we had a number like this. Again, in scientific notation, the decimal always goes after the first number that is between 1 and 9, or including 1 and 9. So we write it as 3.62, make another time sign, put a 10 there. And then again, we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 decimal places. But we went to the right, so that means this number is there. Okay, so keep in mind that in scientific notation, positive exponents are used for numbers bigger than or equal to 10, and negative exponents are used for numbers between 0 and 1. So this decimal is a number between 0 and 1, so it has a negative exponent on it. Okay, so this is one that I'm going to kind of skip just a little bit. Okay, so let's look at example 8, distance to a star. So we have the nearest star, Alpha Centauri C, is 4.22 light years from the Earth, and 1 light year is the distance that light travels in 1 year, and is about 5.88 times 10 to the 12th miles. Okay, so that's how many miles light travels in a year. The star is 4.22 of these. And if you remember, the word of means multiply. So we're going to multiply 4.22 times this here. And it looks like this. Okay. And what we do when we multiply with scientific notation is we just have to multiply these two numbers together, and we get 24.8136, and then our 10 to the 12th power doesn't change. And you're like, oh, I'm done. Simple. Yeah, we have one more step here. Remember, the decimal has to go after the first number. To get it proper. And since we move that decimal over 1, we have to raise this power 1. And remember, this number is bigger than 10, so we're going to have positive exponents there. Okay, next section we're going to look at is order of operations. Order of operations is what gets a lot of students into trouble because they don't do their order of operations correctly, meaning they don't do the addition and subtraction, multiplication, division, exponents, and parentheses all in the correct way. So if you remember, years ago you were taught PEMDAS, which means parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction in that order, in order for you to do things the way everybody else does them. Alright, so if we look at something like 8 times 5 minus 3, and we cube it, and then we subtract 20, and we're following PEMDAS, it says do what's in the parentheses first. So we're going to do that. Second part says do the exponents. Next part says do multiplication. Don't have any division, don't have any addition, so we do the subtraction. Okay? So it's just following the rule, the PEMDAS rule. And when you do that, you end up getting a consistently right answer. Alright, so I'm going to shut this off, write B down in example 9, and then we'll do that one. Alright, so there it is. And again, write down PEMDAS just to help us refer to it. Do the parentheses first. And let's see, let's do the exponents next. I'm going to do both of these at once. Okay, now I'm going to do my multiplication and my division. So there's a division there, because I can do division first or multiplication, whichever order it comes with, or comes in from left to right. So I did my division and I did my multiplication, and down here I'm going to do my addition because it's across the line right here. So anything up here you follow PEMDAS, anything down here you follow PEMDAS, and once you simplify both the numerator and denominator, you can cross the line there. So that gives me 41 over 41, which equals 1. So PEMDAS up here, PEMDAS down here, and once you've done that and simplified, then you can cross the line and actually do the division. Okay, the last piece of this gives us a story problem, example 10, dealing with compound interest. And you did things like this back in Algebra 2. If a principal P is invested in an interest rate R, compounded n times per year, in t years it will grow in an amount A, given by, so here's the formula. It's all you really care about right now is the formula, because you're just going to shove numbers in there for the variables and solve it. Okay, so what this means is this is the amount you invested, the rate is the interest that you're given, n is how many times per year they're going to give you interest, t is time, and when you put all these together you get how much money you get in the bank. So let's say in this particular problem that you invested $1,250. That's your principal. The principal is always how much you put in the bank. And then it says that our rate is 4.6%. You never deal with percents. You always change it to a decimal when you're going to do the math with it. And then that's over how many times? N. Compounded quarterly. Quarterly is 4. And then our N is, again, our 4. And then our T. How much money do you have at the end of 8 years? Alright, so that's what your formula you're using to find out how much money you're going to have in the bank at the end of 8 years. Okay, so doing PEMDAS, you're going to do what's in the parentheses first. So we get 1 plus, we're going to do this part first, 0.0115, and that's going to be, let's just make that to the 32nd power. We're going to add those up. To the 32nd power. Now we're going to do this part of PEMDAS, the exponents, 1.0115 to the 32nd power. Then we're going to multiply it by 1250. Now, How do you do that to the 32nd power? You probably have a key on your calculator that looks like this. So you put 1.0115 in there, push that button, then put 32 in there, and then push equal, and you should get the right number. So play around with your calculator, and when you put 1.0115 to the 32nd power, you should get a number like 1.441811175. So try it and find out how your calculator best works, and you should be able to get that answer. Alright, so the exercises for R2 are there for you to work on, and normally when we get into some harder stuff, I go over some of the problems in the homework, but in this particular one I'm not going to do that because, again, this is all review, and I don't want you to have to waste your time watching me do problems you already know how to do. And anyway, so yeah, do those problems in the review from the website. It will tell you which ones to do, and we'll start on the next section later.